we've had a wonderful afternoon so far with lovely talks from all speakers, and yet another speaker, Mr. Rajiv Chowri, who is currently the Vice President, Quality Operations and Environment Safety at the Care Group of Hospitals. He has over 28 years of experience in the hospital industry, also a Principal Assessor NABH and Lead Auditor for ISO. Sir, we welcome you on behalf of CAHO to give your talk on outsourcing in healthcare merits and demerits. Over to you, Mr. Chowri.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful introduction. And thank you, CAHO, especially Dr. Anuradha and Dr. Lalu Joseph for giving me this opportunity. Long back, there was one carpenter. He was very good at his job of doing carpenting, but he did not know how to get the wood because he had no means to cut a tree. So what he did, he approached a guy who had an axe and said, if you can cut a tree for me, I will make a good handle for your axe. And that's how the outsourcing began in business. And that guy, he got the tree at a very cheap cost of just giving a handle of an axe to somebody. Now, outsourcing today has taken up an enormous shape in all industries. Though healthcare has been lagging behind and it has recently taken up this trend, other industries have been having it for a long time. Long ago, I believe even during war, people had outsourced soldiers also. So this is not a new concept to anybody here. Now let me begin my talk with this outline. So we will just go through what is outsourcing. Why do organizations outsource? Because it's a very big mystery. Why do they outsource? Is it that they're just following the herd mentality? Or do they really pay attention to what they are doing? So we'll look at that. We will also look at the trends in outsourcing. We will also see the merits and demerits of this outsourcing. And finally, just a conclusion and question answer. I'm sure many of you must not have heard of this term called Shamrock Organization. It's a very famous term which was introduced in 1989 by Charles Handy in his book, Age of Unreason. Here he talked about a different kind of organization. He said that these new organizations will have 3 different leaves or a leaf of a shamrock tree. One will represent the professional contract people who are on professional contract or a full-time contract. Another one will represent flexible workforce, and the third leaf will represent outsourced services. So imagine in 1989, he had thought of this organization. He said if an organization has to be stable and really be profitable, these 3 concepts are must. Now, if you look at today's healthcare organization, we have professionals, doctors, nurses, or various other paramedical professionals who are working either on full-time basis or on part-time basis or on visiting basis. Then we have a flexible workforce, which are called in as and when required. So for example, there are certain respiratory therapists, dialysis technicians in hospitals where they do not have a full-time dialysis services. These are all flexible workforce who are available to handle their load. And finally, outsourced services. So housekeeping, security, various other, as we go along, we will see that. Now this concept has come into very much in practice now owing to even COVID situations. People are finding it difficult to manage costs and not able to handle the difficult situations basically related to nursing staff or resident doctors. Then they are adopting to various different models to handle this situation. Now let's understand what is outsourcing. In broad terms, basically getting something done by a third party in your own organizations, which could have been done by the employees of that organization itself. Or in words of Dave Griffith, it is a strategic use. So outsourcing has been connected to a strategic move, which could be either handling to save cost, to save time, to save energy, or to save space, and which could have been actually handled by internal staff and resources. Few more things related to outsourcing. Basically, it involves the transfer of the responsibility of carrying out an activity to some external service provider. Now, as I said, though healthcare is the biggest industry right now in the world, one of the biggest we could say, but it has been lagging behind in outsourcing. We are basically outsourcing only housekeeping or security services in most of our hospitals. Few hospitals who have progressed well, they have ventured into outsourcing various other activities. Now, why do companies outsource? So this was a study which was done by Deloitte, and you look at the topmost reasons. To reduce cost is one of the topmost reasons for outsourcing. To focus on core business is another important activity why people outsource, because they would not like to spend their energy and their human resources on some certain tasks which they are not expert at. So they would like to only focus on their core business and outsource it to somebody else. To solve capacity related issues, so I do not have space, but I need these services, so let me outsource it to somebody else. So let's say there is no space in a nursing home for managing laboratory services, so they outsource the laboratory services to a different lab which manages everything from outside the facility. To enhance service quality, so I do not have properly trained physiotherapists in my organization, I outsource it to someone who has trained physiotherapists and then he manages it. Sometimes it becomes very critical to business needs to outsource. For example, HR related activities, payroll, let's say, for example, if you would like to keep your employees satisfied, pay them on time without any problems, without any delay, then you can outsource your certain such business needs which are critical to your business. Access to intellectual capital. So sometimes organizations outsource clinical research or approval of their DMB thesis to some outside institutional ethics committee which manages the show. Then to manage the business environment. If things become difficult in the industry, regulatory things are becoming tough, people will outsource certain activities to only to PF consultants, for example, or environmental specialists who will manage the environmental issues for them. Finally, to drive a transformational change. So these are the reasons companies outsource. Now, a study which was done sometime in 2007, it said 78.8% organizations outsourced basically to decrease cost. Then they found out that around 65% were doing it because they wanted to improve their quality of services. 36 to 40% wanted to have flexibility and increase their, divide their share of risks with different parties. And around 11% wanted to increase profits. So if you look at, there is a common thread running around, improving business. What is common across all these reasons for outsourcing? Now, Azim Premji, all of you know Wipro chairperson, Wipro head, he has told that the important thing about outsourcing or global sourcing is that it becomes a powerful tool to leverage talent, improve productivity, and reduce work cycles. So when we look at all these things, now we know that outsourcing is exploding. Now, I would just like to highlight this paper which was published in 2013. It said outsourcing is exploding in healthcare. Will the trend last? This was the question they had asked in 2013. And you will be surprised that they had come up with the answer stating that it may soon reverse. This trend may not last. This was their finding. Now, they are also humans. Things can go wrong, and their findings also did go wrong. Because if you look at this recently published paper in 2021 in March, this study says that the global outsourcing market is expected to reach a huge $579.58 billion by 2027. And we are seeing this trend. In this 2020 itself, a lot of hospitals and insurance companies are going for outsourcing in various other fields, which we will see sometime soon. But the study done in 2013 has totally gone awry, and now we are seeing a huge jump in outsourcing. Now, what's driving it? I mean, like, we know that it's improving now, but what is it that's driving it? First and foremost is the increasing cost liabilities on hospitals. So hospitals are finding it easier to outsource this to somebody who can reduce the cost for them and manage the same task at much lesser cost factor. Similarly, hospitals or healthcare businesses looking at focusing on value-based healthcare. They want to provide value to the customer. Now they feel that if they outsource certain things, let's say hospitality, maybe if it is outsourced to somebody, or training is outsourced to somebody else who has a core activity in that field, well, maybe they can offer value to the customers or patients. Then we are seeing consistent rise in chronic diseases due to lifestyle changes. Rise in hospital admissions is being seen, and now the COVID is glaring example where you can see hospitals are overflowing with patients more than their capacity. And then regulatory changes are also driving this outsourcing. So various outsourcing models, basically there will be a model where full-time staff will be working in the hospital. So housekeeping, security, laboratory, radiology. Energy saving is a new trend where they will deploy the companies whom you outsource your energy saving to. They will deploy manpower from their side who will look into your energy saving activities, who may replace equipment for you, and then you don't have to invest in it, and they will show a good energy saving for you. Then outsourcing with external facility. So laundry, canteen, teleradiology, HR, payroll. A lot of companies, hospitals have outsourced this now. IT services. Then services provided using hospital facility or other facilities. So canteen, laundry, IT services, laboratory, dialysis. Many hospitals are going for outsourcing their dialysis in the hospital premises itself. Blood bank and physiotherapy also. Now new thing which has come up is contingency outsourcing. So people are outsourcing nursing manpower, PF consultants sometimes, because as and when required they can be called. If they are not required, they can be asked to go. And accreditation consultants. This also is a good trend seen in hospitals. What are the merits? Basically, outsourcing reduces and controls the operating cost. So we have seen umpteen examples where, let's say, canteen activity. So you don't want to have a headache of whether cook has come today or not. Is he a good cook? Has he been trained? Does he follow proper protocols? So you outsource it to someone. All the headaches are gone to him, and then you manage it with a controlled cost. It expands talent pool. So IT, let's say IT services, if you outsource, you may get very good designers, you may get very good analysts, which you may not be able to directly procure. It can share risk with another company. So when you're outsourcing, let's say a security, the risk is shared between the security agency and your hospital. It can improve focus on core business activities. So as I mentioned, non-core activities, one need not waste energy, others can take care of it. So let me give you an example. We had a lot of manpower to manage payroll, but when we outsourced it, we could reduce that manpower and put them, rather than laying them off, we could put them into different areas where we needed manpower. So this way we were able to distribute our manpower properly in the areas where we required, and we saved a huge cost on that. Increased efficiency. So payroll became a quick activity. People started getting salary on time. Errors were less. There were no reversals. There were no grievances from staff, and it helped us improve efficiency here. Outsourcing does help in increased reach. So suppose your outsource provider has companies outside the country or in different geographical locations. He can promote your services in those locations, and then you can easily get business from there. And then it offers you a great competitive advantage. Demerits, yes, there are both sides of the coin. So first thing is employees could feel threatened. They might feel that you may outsource every activity and slowly they may lose their job. So you need to be very good at communicating with them that this is only a activity which you are doing it to reduce the cost, and no manpower will be cut down, or they will not lose all their benefits if they are into a different contractor. Standards could differ. So you may have a different standard for patient care services. They may not follow those standards, but then you need to have clear-cut guidelines there. Communication issues could arise. So if the management is not good with the outsourced party, you may not be able to have regular communication or clear communication with them. And this may result in poor quality also. Data breach, one of the most dangerous demerit of the outsourcing. A lot of confidentiality issues have come up. as many as more than million records were leaked out of patients in different hospitals in US, and it might have happened in India also, we do not know. But then that's the biggest danger that we have. Control issues could also be there, where you may not be able to get their staff on time. They may not be picking up your calls to answer in odd hours or on holidays. Then they may not be flexible enough for you to accommodate patients' request. So if suppose sample collection has to be done early morning at 6 a.m., outsource party may say, no, we will start only at 7 a.m. So you may not be able to get that flexibility from them. If there are too many management changes happening there in that company, you may not get proper stability from there. So it may lead to instability in the outsourced organization, and you can get impacted because of that. So these are all certain merits, but you cannot get away from outsourcing. So you need to have certain things in mind when you decide outsourcing. First and foremost, human resource must play a lead role while deciding. HR department shall never be ignored by anybody when you are taking up outsourcing decision, because they can play an important role in defining clear goals, service level agreements, finding out whether all the statutory requirements will be adhered to or not, and important terms in agreement can be definitely added by people who are expert in HR. Careful vendor selection is most important. After that, the outsourcing, once it is done, it doesn't stop at that. Relationship with the outsourced party has to be regularly managed. You need to involve them in various programs of the organization, rewards and recognition to be there for them also. And then properly structured subcontract and vendor agreements have to be there. Also, open communication with all stakeholders has to be maintained. So if you have outsourced physiotherapy services, your existing physiotherapy staff, when they are migrated to the outsourced party, they have to be assured their interest has to be taken care, and properly all these things have to be put into the agreement. Proper executive support has to be provided from both the sides, and careful attention to personal issues have to be focused on. So we cannot say that our internal complaints committee will not look into issues faced by the outsourced vendor. No, you need to include them also. They are also working for your organization. Or for example, COVID vaccination is not our responsibility. It is only outsourced party's responsibility. We cannot shun away with that. We have to ensure that both the parties join together and take care of these personal issues. And then short-term financial justifications have to be looked into. So with this, I would just like to conclude that outsourcing is a very, very beneficial activity that hospitals must definitely look into. It can give you rewards in a very, very big way if properly done. But one needs to keep in mind that it cannot be done blindly. Proper decision has to be looked into, analysis has to be done. And as I said, experts from HR and experts from other fields like finance and regulatory fields have to be involved into it. Vendor selection should be done very, very carefully. The outsourced vendor should have a strong backup. He or she should have a strong experience base and base from the regulatory background. We have to define expectations very clearly. What is it that we expect from outsourced party, as well as what the outsourced party expects from us, and it should be put down in writing. Regular monitoring is definitely essential. If we do not monitor them regularly, it can fail. We have a biggest example of IBM. IBM had entered into an agreement for outsourcing of their payroll activities for Queensland Health Services. Queensland Health, they had outsourced their payroll completely to IBM long ago, but nobody looked into it properly. There were no clear-cut definitions, no monitoring was done, and it was a major failure. They expected the cost to be somewhere around $7 million, which went up to more than $100 million for them. Similarly, Virgin Airlines, when they had outsourced their services to another party for ticketing and all that, 24 hours, it didn't work. More than 50,000 passengers suffered, and the outsourced party could not handle that situation at all because there was no regular monitoring happening. And we have had multiple examples in our healthcare also, failure of housekeeping services, failure of security services, because regular monitoring did not happen. So this needs to happen. And hospitals should outsource only it improves productivity and ensure that doctors and patients are not dissatisfied. Their satisfaction has to be the first priority. I mean doctors means nurses also here and all other staff who are working in the organization. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk and thank Kaho for giving me this opportunity. The floor is open for question and answer now. Just one last quote from Lee Kuan Yew. He is the former Prime Minister of Singapore. He said, if you deprive yourself of outsourcing and your competitors do not, you are putting yourself out of business. So you can understand the importance of outsourcing from here. Thank you very much. These are the references I had used.
Thank you, Mr. Chowri, for that very brief yet very valuable experience that you have shared. There are just a couple of questions, but however, you have already covered that in your explanation regarding the relationship between cost and quality of service in outsourcing. I'm sure it's a big challenge. Anything to say about that, Mr. Chowri?
Yes, as I said, first of all, service level agreements have to be very, very clearly defined. So in that, let's say if you are outsourcing it to a laboratory, so you need to ensure that the turnaround time is very clearly defined. The qualification of technicians that they will be appointing must be very clearly defined. At the same time, how the samples will be transported, who will ensure that samples have reached on time, who will ensure that the staff safety is maintained. All that needs to be very clearly documented, and accountability has to be fixed. Very often accountabilities are not fixed while arriving at these agreements. So accountability has to be fixed, and very good references can be used from NABH standards for outsourcing. Also, there are certain guidelines which are available on various websites, can be used while arriving at these service level agreements.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chowri.